This Friday is the six-man All-Star Shootout between Wyoming and Nebraska. It's been an annual tradition here, a decade plus now, as we've had 11 games in this series. Wyoming won last year 68-44 and leads the all-time series 6-5. And going to visit with the head coach of this year's group, Jack Cobb, who was the head coach last year. And your team won last year. And you made a very interesting remark to me before the game last year, which was, you don't know how many more times Wyoming can beat Nebraska, but you went out and your team really played well last year. How do you maybe try and duplicate that effort this year, Jack?
We just matched up good last year with them. And why I said that, and talking to the Nebraska guys this year, I think it's even getting stronger because they just keep getting more and more teams. I think they said they was up to 36 or 38. They had a private school this year come in that won it. Caused a little uproar in Nebraska, a private school playing six-man football, but it is what it is. So last year I knew it was going to be a challenge. And, fortunately last year we had a lot of good, high-powered senior kids that, I just thought we had a chance against them last year. We matched up very well. We had some size and then we just had some, great talent. And maybe Nebraska and the coaches kind of told me they was down a little bit last year, said they had a lot of good juniors. And so I thought, oh, they're setting us up for next year. And fortunately on my end, I get to go back and do it again with Coach Sam and Kyle Jeffries is going this year off my staff. And so we get to go try it again. And regardless, it's just a fun week and love putting these boys together and kids that we compete against all year. And now we get to put them on the same team and just go play our best we can. And you only get 2 days of practice, really. So honestly, it is what it is. And you go out and you give it your best, and we'll find out Friday night.
Well, yeah, basically it comes down to you just got to let your athletes make plays in an
You
all-star game
do.
like this.
You do, and fortunately last year we did have some athletes that could make plays. We had Dace Bennett and Corey Gilbert from encampment and that kid. Then he ended up playing at Chadron, and I think he did well and stuff. But we had 3 or 4 kids that went and played college ball last year. So that's going to be a little different this year. We have probably a couple that's going on to play, but you just gotta put the best game plan in front of them and say, get after it. And you just hope you have enough studs that they can handle it and can make some plays. And, I'm optimistic, even though I think that, Nebraska will be good because they are every year, but I love our Wyoming kids. I love our coaches and six-man, we're a tight bunch, and I'm excited to, coach these kids because the advantage I get coaching basketball, I got to see a lot of these kids in basketball, and I found out they're just not football players. That a couple of these kids, I got a little grudge against them because they kind of handled us in basketball. So I kind of challenged a couple of them, and by God, they bit us. So, but it's going to be fun to coach them now. But so I'm looking forward to it, and it's a time that we need, and so it'll be fun.
How did you and the staff go about putting this group together this year? What did you look at in terms of trying to mix and match? You've got 4 of your own guys from Little Snake River.
Yeah.
A couple other schools have multiple players, but how did you go about piecing this roster together this year?
I think, we did try to get a little bit of positions, in a couple spots probably got filled, just because of positions. We seemed like we had quite a few skilled players. And so we needed a couple kids that could, I'm expecting Nebraska to have some size because they typically do. And so we beefed up our lines a little bit more than maybe, typically we would have. But, we just talked as a coaching staff, just tried to fit what we thought we might need position wise and kind of went that route. And, fortunately, most of these kids, were all state and all conference. And so that makes it simpler. But, we did kind of go off the all conference thing a little bit just because of matchups that we think we're going to have. It's a shot in the dark against Nebraska because I mean, like I said, they have 36 or 38 teams, and they got to pick 18 out of that many teams. I mean, I'm glad I don't have that problem. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
I got
that
you.
would be tough.
Yeah, I understand that. So as you look at it, obviously you get to coach a few of your guys again, as I mentioned.
Mhm.
Are there other kids you're really looking forward to coaching?
You know, the
Coached again?
Burlington kids, I'm excited, you know, because Trent's going to be on the staff with me, Coach Agard. And so we have 4 of their boys coming. We had 5, and one of them's going backpacking over Europe. So I guess that I can't blame him for that. But I was really looking forward to coaching him, because I watched him on the basketball court. I coached against him, and I thought, man, that kid, I want to coach him in football, but he's going to go hike Europe or something. But I'm excited to coach, you know, the other Wellington kids. We got a couple of Farson kids that, you know, they're gritty. I mean, it's just going to be fun. They're just two good, tough kids, and you know, that's the fun thing about it. You know, you compete against these kids, and I told my wife when I got off the phone talking to each one of these kids, it's like I called up my team. These kids are so humble and so small town kids that they, you know, they just have that same background that our boys do, and that some same humility, and you know, they're just good kids. And so I'm looking forward to, you know, just getting to know them better, you know, and you know, and then I always say the game's the game, but you know, getting to know the kids, and getting our boys around them, and taking the colors away from them, and the art, you know, the rivals, and you know, letting them get close and be teammates, and you know, so that's the best thing about this. And if you happen to win the game, that's icing on the cake. So
Speaking of that, real quick, what are some keys that you talk with your group about to try and be successful against
you know,
Nebraska?
it's basics, very, very basic stuff to us in 6-man, because it's, you know, it's a game of space. And I think we really got to be very disciplined of what we do on both sides of the ball. And, you know, you got to learn that in 2 days. But I think it comes back down to, you know, these kids are very well coached. And that's why I said I like my 6-man coaches that I compete against. And there's a lot of good coaches in 6-man. And, you know, these kids come in and they're very intelligent about it. You know, they're seniors for a reason, and, you know, graduates and now, and they're very smart and very football savvy. So, you know, we'll keep it as basic as we can, and they just got to be disciplined in what they do, and trust what they do. And, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, you know, we just hope we have a good enough athletes and we give them a good enough game plan that we can carry out what, you know, Coach Agard and Coach Keegan and Sam and Kyle and I, you know, put them in position to do. And, you know, just go give it our best. But you got to keep it pretty simple when you only got 2 days to practice, really.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for the time, and good luck Friday in Chadron against Nebraska.
Appreciate it. And that's always good to visit with you, David.